thanks so much for clicking on the video to check this out. I have been going to church my whole life, and I thought I had all these Bible stories and these VeggieTale videos down, and I was wrong. A lot of it, there were pieces that I didn't know about, or things I had just never seen before or heard before until I started reading it for myself. And so I'm going to share with you my top 5 kind of mind-blowing things that I found out in Genesis. So if you're ready, hang on, here we go. Number 1. Alright, so the first mind-blowing fact realization came from Genesis 1 verses 6 through 8, and it says this: Then God said, "Let there be a space between the waters, to separate the waters of the heavens from the waters of the earth." And that is what happened. God made this space to separate the waters of the earth from the waters of the heavens. God called the space sky. And evening passed, and morning came, marking the second day. And then goes into the third day of creation. So you might be thinking, great, Kaylee, yeah, it says, we learn about the sky. That's awesome. Did you catch, though, that God did not call it good? So in every other day of creation, it was good except for this day, and I didn't realize that. And the more I started kind of looking and really reading that, it says that let there be a space between the waters that separate the waters of heaven from the waters of earth. It was separating in heaven and earth already, and God knew that separation wasn't good. And so it kind of got me thinking, like, is that why he didn't call it good? Because he knew it was the separation. When I was talking to one of my friends about it, she encouraged me to check out the first verse in Genesis and see what else wasn't good that God created. And so if you read there, it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And it goes in talking about those, and God does not call them good either. He just calls them that he created the heavens and the earth. And so even with that, he knows that separation wasn't good, and that's not how it's meant to be. But it's still, questions for heaven. Why did God go ahead and create that then? But what I also kind of love taking away from this is, like today, it was raining earlier, but now the skies are beautiful. It's blue and the clouds are coming out. So even in this space that God didn't say was good, he can still create beauty in that. And that's encouraging to just keep going. Even though things that I do or things that happen might not be good, there's still beauty that God creates in that. And that's really cool. So there's my first mind blow. Let's move on to the second. Here we go. Okay, fact number 2, or realization number 2. I don't know what to really call them. They're still facts, and they're my realizations. So whatever you think works, that's what you should call them. This one comes from chapter 4, verses 3 through 9, and it says this: When it was time for the harvest, Cain presented some of his crops as a gift to the Lord. Abel also brought a gift, the best portions of the firstborn lambs from his flock. The Lord accepted Abel and his gift, but he did not accept Cain and his gift. This made Cain very angry, and he looked dejected. "Why are you so angry?" the Lord asked Cain. "Why do you look so dejected? You will be accepted if you do what is right. But if you refuse to do what is right, then watch out. Sin is crouching at the door, eager to control you, but you must subdue it and be its master." One day Cain suggested to his brother, "Let's go out into the fields." And while they were in the fields, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. Afterward, the Lord asked Cain, "Where is your brother? Where is Abel?" "I don't know," Cain responded. "Am I my brother's guardian?" So this might not be a new story for you. It wasn't for me. But what was new and what I didn't realize is that it says that Cain was angry and he looked dejected. Dejected means depressed. Thanks, Google. And God saw that, and he asked him, "Why are you so angry? Why do you look so depressed?" He came down and he had the conversation. He opened up this door for Cain to share what was on his mind, why he was feeling this way, and to talk it out. And God warned him, if you let sin too close, like it's at the door, it's waiting to control you. And he didn't say anything. Cain it doesn't even say what he did. It just goes straight into the next day. Cain suggested to his brother, let's go into the fields. And he ends up killing his brother. He didn't talk to God about it. He didn't have that conversation. He instead let it fester inside of him, and to a point where it made him so angry that he took his brother's life, his own brother's life. And then Cain has the audacity to be so sassy and sarcastic and lie to God. And when God's like, where is Abel? And Cain's like, I don't know. Do I look like his father? Am I the one that's supposed to take care of him? No. And it's like, come on, man. Like, this is your next response to God. Like, he had come down and he had asked you, where's your brother? Why are you angry? Why are you so depressed? Like, let's talk about it. And he doesn't say anything. Instead, he waits. And it just made me wonder, how many times do I do that? How many times is God like coming down like, okay, I see you. I see your frustration. I see your anger. Let's talk about it. And I'm just like, no, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to go and do that. Like, we've all been there. We've all had Cain's attitude. And if we're not careful, it could get to a point where it could destroy relationships. And so that was just a really interesting thing, that Cain just didn't take the time and wasn't able to humble himself enough to talk to God about it. So there is my realization for number 2. Let's head to number 3. Number 3 comes from just a little bit further into chapter 4. It's in 25 verses, just 25. So chapter 4, verse 25. Adam had sexual relations with his wife again, Eve, and she gave birth to another son. She named him Seth, for she said, God has granted me another son in place of Abel, whom Cain killed. Okay. They had another son. What? I did not know that. I did not know that Adam and Eve had another son. I've always wondered how the rest of the world came about when it was just Cain and Abel, and then once Cain killed Abel, then it was just Abel. Like, who did Cain marry and have kids with? And all these questions answered. A little bit later or the beginning of chapter 5, it talks about how actually they had other sons and daughters too. It wasn't just the 3 boys. There were other sons and daughters. And so, a lot of incest happening, I'm noticing, as I read through Genesis. Number 4. It's going to be an interesting one. So here we go. Number 4. Okay, so number 4 comes a little bit down the road in Genesis in chapter 20, verses 11 and 12. And it says this. Abraham replied, I thought this is a godless place. They will want my wife and kill me to get her. And she really is my sister. We both have the same father, but different mothers, and I married her. Okay, so a little bit of a backstory right now. Abraham and Sarah are kind of on the move, and they get into this town, and Abraham is afraid that they're going to kill him to take Sarah because she was so beautiful. And so instead of telling the king and the big honchos that are in the city that is his wife, they tell them that she is his sister, so they don't kill him. Well, then they want to marry her because she is so beautiful and she's free, I guess. She's fair game. She's not married. That's what they're saying. And so the king found out that, Abraham is the husband to Sarah and stuff. And, the guy's like, why would you deceive me? And that's when he's like, well, she really is my sister. What? Same father, different mothers. Doesn't make it better. So, yeah, I guess Kentucky is in the Bible. I'm just kidding. But, but it's just really interesting. I did not know that Sarah and Abraham were brother and sister. It makes me very uncomfortable and super weird, but that's it. There's number 4. Last but not least, number 5. Coming in hot. Okay, so number 5, the final one, comes from Genesis 37, verses 21 and 22, and it says this. But Reuben heard of their scheme, and he came to Joseph's rescue. Let's not kill him, he said. Why should we shed any blood? Let's just throw him into that empty cistern here in the wilderness. Then he'll die without us laying a hand on him. But Reuben was secretly planning to rescue Joseph and return him to his father. I did not know that any of the brothers tried to rescue him or tried to protect him or save him. And I thought all of them wanted him gone and dead and taken care of. And so I had no idea that Reuben was looking out for him and trying to have his back. So way to go, Reuben. And it just, goes to show, like, he didn't make it in time. His brother was sold into slavery, but look what God did. He ended up using Joseph as a huge tool for the Israelites and for Egypt and the famine and all of that, and like God redeemed it all. And so we have those moments like even now, where we're trying to control people, we're trying to control things, and really we can only do so much, right? We can only give so many suggestions, like, hey, stay in this hole in here, but I'm gonna come get you out a little bit later. God's got it. God's taking care of all of it. And so even when we think that we have this plan and this person, we've set it into place, God's like, no, just let me do my thing. Let me be the redeemer of it all. Let me take care of it. And so Reuben, he tried to help, and it was an E for effort, right? But how many times has God probably saying that to us, like, E for effort, now let me do it, let me take the reins like it should be. So so way to go, Reuben. Way to be a brother. Guys, thanks so much for watching this all the way through. I really love just getting to share kind of what God's putting on my heart, what he's teaching me, these things that I'm learning. I loved Sunday school. I loved all my Sunday school teachers, and so I'm not trying to diss any of them or ridicule any of their teachings or anything like that. They did great. I've grown up to be a great a decent person. But I've gotten really far in my faith, and I know a lot of it was having that background with them, and so I really appreciate them. But there's only so much that your Sunday school teachers and teachers can do to teach you these things. You have to be the ones to go and read it for yourselves, and I'm realizing that even more now. And so I've just really appreciated all that God's taught me in this, and I thank you for watching and for staying tuned and being part of it with me. Next time, I think I'm going to do Daniel. That was actually another book I've read recently, but there's just a ton of things in there too that I didn't really realize. And so stay tuned for the next episode, and we'll kind of dive into Daniel and some of the things that I saw in there. So have a great quarantine today, and keep praying for you guys and asking that you just have some great time that is filled with God. And and if you didn't know it, God loves you so much, and I love you so much, and I'm so glad that you're on this earth. So keep doing what you're doing and loving people well. I'll see you next time. Bye.